It's a great pleasure to be here and the NEC. I'm from Business in the Community. Some of you may or may not know Business in the Community. We're all about mobilising business for good. We're a business-led organisation, about 830 member companies working with us, and we're all about trying to help them to embed responsible business practice into the heart of what they do. And so in our parlance, responsible business practice is sustainable business practice. We were started by a group of, I think, impassioned visionary leaders way back 27 years ago, and I think we continue to have really great leadership shown by many of the companies with whom we work, and that's something I want to touch upon in just a second, is what I think is one of the characteristics of what makes or helps to put sustainability at the heart of a business. Prince of Wales is our president, has been for 25 years, and on his behalf we run a number of programs, and my team in particular, in the environment team, run the Prince's Mayday Network, completely free to join. 2,500 businesses now part of that network, all committed to tackling climate change. So I'd encourage you, if you're not part of that, to join. I think I want to start from the basis that business is in business to do business, to be profitable, to have a decent return to their shareholders, but they need to do that in a way which protects and looks at the triple bottom line, if you like, the bottom line of economic viability, of social sustainability, as well as environmental sustainability. I don't think that there's a single formula that you can apply to put sustainability at the heart of the business, but what I would like to do is just perhaps draw out 6 things which I think are probably we are seeing as being characteristics of those businesses who do indeed get this message. The first of these is that there's clear evidence that businesses who take this seriously are led by passionate people who get the sustainability message. They see the inherent value and the bottom line impact of addressing societal as well as environmental issues alongside the economic issues that they're tackling and making a profit. They understand that there are risks to be avoided as well as opportunities to be grabbed, and they've got a strong positive vision of what the future could be like and what the role of business is in shaping that future and adding value to it. And they also communicate this, and they're able to inspire others that work with them both within their organisations and outside. And I think Interface's Ray Anderson, we're going to hear a little bit later on about the work of Interface, but Ray Anderson is just one of those sorts of inspirational leaders. I think Stuart Rose from Marks & Spencer, the executive chairman there, is that sort of a leader, and with his drive on Marks & Spencer's Plan A. I think Todd Stitzer from Cadbury's, chief executive, also gets this message big time, and we're very privileged to work with many, many more fairly senior business leaders from those sorts of businesses. But it's not just the larger businesses. Some of the smaller ones as well are being run by leaders who are truly inspirational. People like Andy Wood, the managing director of Adnams, and owners of thousands and thousands of micro businesses. People like the Brains. None of you maybe will know Mr. and Mrs. Brain, who run the Limes Guest House down in Somerset. But they're able to translate their passion for the environment, their passion for sustainability, into the way that they run their business as a profitable guest house down in Somerset, and to provide a really great experience for their guests. Well, their guest house would go under tomorrow if they weren't commercially viable, if they didn't provide a good experience for their visitors. So there has to be a very strong business case for putting sustainability at the heart of the business. So that's the second point, I think. We have found in Business in the Community that those businesses who consistently participate in our benchmarking process, our corporate responsibility benchmark, outperform the rest of the FTSE 350 on total shareholder return by something between 3.5% or 3.3% and 7.7% per year. So there does seem to be very strong evidence to suggest that good social and environmental responsible business practice actually also translates into good economic practice. Also, I think those businesses, the third point is that those businesses who put sustainability at the heart of what they do are taking a longer-term view of the future. So they're regarding their role not simply as users of raw materials or of energy or of people, but more as stewards of the natural and human resources that they've got, that they're entrusted with. And quite often, those people that make good decisions about those resources and how they care for them are also making good decisions about how they look after their shareholders' money. The Co-op, a bank who many of us will know and who has a long-standing reputation for environmentally sound and ethical good practices, have found that 20% of its customers bank with them because of their ethical policies. So tremendous customer loyalty, and in the start of the economic downturn in 2008, they saw an increase in the deposits to the bank from £2.7 billion to £3.8 billion in it. So it's a demonstration that people wanted to bank with them. I think businesses who take this stewardship type of approach also take time to think through the what ifs. They look at the different future scenarios and the different impacts of their decision making. As an example of that, United Utilities Chief Executive is Philip Green, who chairs my leadership team, who helps to keep what we do grounded in good common sense. They're in the business, United Utilities are in the business of investing in the country's essential infrastructure, and they're an example, I think, of a company who are taking this long-term view. They have a tool which they call the Carbon and Sustainability Estimating Tool, or CASE, and information about this is available on our website, but that assesses the impact of the investment decisions that they're making in terms of the carbon, the embedded carbon in those investment decisions, and helps them to make better informed decisions in terms of the way which they invest their money and develop the country's assets. I think the fourth area is a balanced approach to understanding the ability to manage risk and the ability to take opportunities. They're often two sides of the same coin. Quite often managing risk can unlock the opportunities that exist on the other side of that coin. An example of that is the skills gap, and we heard about that earlier on in the previous discussions. It's likely to be a huge risk for business, particularly in the areas of science, technology, engineering and maths. And the government's Building a Low Carbon Economy report, which was out last year, identified that 1 in 3 firms are now saying that they're being hampered by a shortage of skilled staff from those needed to install new technology right the way through to scientists and engineers. And companies like EDF Energy, for example, and National Grid are the sort of companies that are going to need people with those disciplines to keep the lights on in the future, putting it simply. And we're working very closely with EDF's Chief Executive, Vincent de Rivas, on a skills inquiry, and we've had over 700 responses from leading businesses to that inquiry right now, just to find out where are the gaps in these skills and how can they be filled and how can business work together in order to fill them. I think sustainability also assumes survivability and business resilience. And again, we'd heard a little bit earlier on about adapting to climate change as an issue. And I think those businesses who take adaptation to climate change seriously as an issue, look at the business resilience of those issues, are the ones that will put and are putting sustainability at the heart of their business. The fifth area, I think those businesses that are more successful in embedding sustainability are those who are alive to the views of the various stakeholders and other key individuals and what they're saying on the subject. They're particularly their major customers, their suppliers, but also, very importantly, their employees. One of our award winners last year was United Biscuits, who used their employee suggestion scheme and a scheme of sustainability champions across the business to share best practice and the progress that they're making across the whole of the business at all levels to reduce their emissions and their waste, their water and their energy usage, and also their packaging. And as a result of that, they managed to re-engineer the hula hoops multi-pack, where many of us will know hula hoops and consume hula hoops. They've saved 400 tons of corrugated cardboard in the year, over 40,000 pallets, and over nearly 800 lorry movements in 2008 as a result of the work that their employees helped them to do in reducing packaging. And it's not just, again, it's not just the domain of the large companies. Micro business, bubble house worms, may not have heard of bubble house worms, unlikely, but however, they breed worms for composting and they produce handmade wormeries. As a result of working with their employees and their customers and their suppliers, they completely rethought the way in which they manufacture and which they distribute their product and provide a recycling service to their customers. And as a result, they've achieved a carbon reduction and cost saving and an enhanced reputation and improved their sales by about 300% last year. And the final point then, the sixth point, and this list is by no means comprehensive, but I think the old adage about managing and measuring, putting sustainability at the heart of the business really doesn't just happen, no matter how visionary, how impassioned, and how strong a leadership you have, or how solid the business case. You do need to develop metrics which help to measure that performance and embed it into the business. Marks & Spencer's Plan A, which I mentioned earlier on, is now simply regarded as just the way that they do business. And meeting Plan A targets are written into everyone's objectives. What's expected is clearly communicated up and down the business, and actions are taken when things aren't on track, and encouragement is given when things are on track. Within the intention for M&S was for Plan A to be cost positive within 2 years. Well, it's now cost positive within 2 years and starting to put profits back into the business. So it's now, by adopting a sustainability plan, a comprehensive sustainability plan, M&S are able to fund further sustainability projects and so keep the virtuous circle going. So just a quick recap then. Leadership in enlightened capitalism, a clear business case, look at the triple bottom line, long-term thinking, positive vision, inspiration, consider risk and opportunity, be alive to the view of stakeholders, and measure and manage using suitable metrics. Thank you.